Hey, this is not a typical video. This is very specific to improvisation in the improv community. I apologize for the headphone and mic. I have some ambient noise issues that are pretty bad. So I just had this set up, and I'm sorry if I look flush. I just finished exercising. My name is Adon. I'm an improviser. I'm coming up on 7 years now. I've improvised in Austin, Chicago, and Dallas for extended periods of time. Almost, or about 2 years in each one, a little more, a little less than some. I currently am a comedy sports player in Dallas, and I'm still a member of the Shades of Brown in Austin, Texas. Diversity in improv has become a big topic of discussion because of an ex-UCB student who was frustrated with the lack of diversity. I don't want to speak specifically to the article because I don't have any insight on the place or the person or the claims, but I do want to comment on the discussion around the subject of diversity in improv. I should first say that personally, I've never felt individually discriminated by the improv community in any way. It has always been more than welcoming for all my quirks and differences, as it is, I think, to most people. I want to start at the top. There's three things I want to hit on. The first one is that, to me, the improv community is the best thing in the world. The more improvisers there are in the world, the better the world is a place to live, I believe. I strongly believe that. Improvisation, when I started 7 years ago, has literally changed my life. It took over my life and has now integrated itself into nearly every facet in some way or fashion. I love improv. I love the people. I love the community. But what can be done better? Because I feel like as a community, just as an improviser, just a person, we should always seek those areas that we can improve in. It's to me, that's an important tenet of improv, is constantly improving and constantly innovating and constantly bring something new to the table. Why I think diversity is important, not because that's what's fair or what's the right, quote, the right thing to do. I feel like a jerk when I do that, so I try not to do that, but sometimes it feels appropriate. Individually, like, I would have zero hesitation of sending anyone from any walk of life into an improv theater to say, hey, go check out improv. And I have no doubt that this one person or multiple people would welcome them with open arms into the community. So I think individually, like, improvisation is amazing at doing that. I've seen it in many instances in all the communities I've been a part of. Improv may very well be the best at that, as a community, the best at accepting people from various walks of life, because it's in our nature as improvisers to be good improvisers, to be accepting and to say yes and add to the conversation and edify whoever it is we come in contact with. So what I want to speak to are a couple points of discussion that I see coming up. I think ideas that are showing up in this discussion. One is the idea of this making a cast diverse for the sake of diversity. Well, I see that, and I certainly think it has a place, just like I think affirmative action had or still has a place. That's not the only reason that we should seek diversity in the improv community, because it shouldn't always be looked at it as you're doing some segment a favor by choosing a certain number of them to fill a quota. What I think is important to realize is that people of varying walks of life all bring interesting experiences to the table as improvisers. They all bring different perspectives and ideas that we may not even be aware exist. And that's really where the magic of improv comes from, is the collision of new ideas and us accepting them and intertwining them and discovering magic, right? Like, that's a great improv show, is when two strong ideas come together on stage and they're allowed to collide and be true, but also accepting. That's what better improv is there? I don't know personally. So that's one thing I want to point out, that diversity should not be looked as like a favor. I think it should be looked at as, doing our community a service to allow these other voices of sexual identities, of age, of ethnicity, of sex, obviously gender. They all bring something different, just as like an individual would bring to the table. I think if we look to our godfather of long form, Del Close, by many accounts, the rest of the world would have written him off. From what I've read, drug-addled, erratic, angry, very mean, misogynistic from some of the comments he's been quoted as saying. But he revolutionized the art form, and it wouldn't be what it is today if Sharna Halpern over at IO didn't say yes to his ideas. So I think that's important to keep in mind. Otherwise, we might all still be just improvising to write sketches. I want to make a correlation between what we see and gentrification. Let's think about this. Like, why is gentrification a bad thing, right? A neighborhood of low economic activity, crime, and homelessness and dilapidation, and then some, for various reasons, money is injected into that community, either through investors or people who care about the community and want to make it a better place. It becomes safer, it becomes a place people want to be rather than a place people have to be. But the bad side is that some of that culture that has a very important aspect and is often more artistic and creative than the economic factors that move in, starts to get drowned out. So that's what we don't like about gentrification, right? Is this idea that money moves in and money becomes a priority in this community. The culture that is not associated with that economic position is drowned out, forced to move away, and many times lost. So in improv, there's various currencies of what's entertaining, right? There's pop culture references. There's different ideas of how an improvisational show should focus on. There's such as like character development versus narrative versus game. And of course, the greatest shows often combine all elements. But I think we need to realize that there are other currencies that we may not be aware of or are not of the current fashion that are just as valuable and just as interesting. Like think of like silent film. Like look at Chaplin. There's very few improvisational shows out there doing this. There are some doing this silent clowning. Shout out to Butter and Austin. Do a great clown show. Luke and Sandra. I'm sure there's more that I don't know of. That's just it's an example of something that, for whatever reason, is not regularly explored. If you watch, any Mexican American channel such as Univision, you'll notice the comedy is very different. And I think as comedy nerds, we tend to be snobby about that and say that comedy is lowbrow and less important, or make whatever judgment we do about it. A lot of people think it's really funny, and I don't think it's right for us to say that that's not as valuable in a show. So that's ultimately what I'm getting at is that if we allow the improv to be dominated by any one point of view, and it's not. I'm not saying it's not, but we have to be vigilant. We run the risk of becoming stagnant and not really seeing that magic as often of discovery on stage. Like that's the best improv show is when not only is the audience surprised, but the performers are surprised and having a great time. So yeah, that's the main points I want to touch on. What can we do? Like that's a big question. Is like, what can we do to make this better? Kevin Mullaney posted a great post about casting for diversity, and again, I think that's a great practice. But I also think it should be done in the right mindset that you're not doing diverse performers a favor by casting them. You're doing your show a favor by allowing these people to come from various backgrounds and contribute to a great improvised show because they bring perspectives that might not normally be there. The other thing is just be vigilant. There's outreach programs. Second City does an outreach program. I'm sure other theaters do. That's great. We'll keep that up, not only to ethnicities, but other ages, other sexual identities. Obviously, make sure men and women are included. But age, I think that's one thing that every city I've improvised in, we could all use more diversity in age. Probably also financial standing, because it can be very expensive to be an improviser starting out, having to pay for classes, considering offer some kind of scholarship or outreach program, free tickets, whatever we can to share this great art. It's more than art, right? Like, it feels to be like this is a lifestyle. I think as much as I love performing, I would walk off stage a happy man if I could continue to be a part of this community. I hope this at least helps continue the discussion, continue the momentum and progress that we've already made. A couple quick shout outs to the Institution Theater in Austin, Asaf and Tom. That was my original improv home. It will always be my improv home. I love y'all. I love that theater. My performing family at the Shades of Brown, and also in Austin. I love you guys. To all the amazing teachers and people that I got to learn from and perform with in Chicago. I think about you guys all the time. I miss the community of Chicago so much. And lastly, to the Dallas community, Dallas Comedy House, Alternative Comedy Theater, all great people, and also most importantly to my comedy sports family here in Dallas. I feel so fortunate to be a part of Comedy Sports Dallas and the Comedy Sports Worldwide organization. It's an amazing organization that I think distills even further the great ideas that are in the improv community at large. If you have comedy sports in your city and you're not a part of it or you haven't seen a show, go check it out. That's that. I hope this is taken in the spirit that it's meant to. This is not a criticism leveled at this community that I love. This is, hey, we're doing good. Let's do better. Because I hold improv and improvisers to a higher standard in this world than other people. And I think we need to continue to be leaders in progress and making this world a better place to live. That's it. It's like a sketch, right? I don't know how to end it. I'll just say thank you for watching. Feel free to comment, message me, email me, tweet me, whatever. King Adonis Nice. I'm at everything. Twitter, Instagram, King Adonis Nice. Facebook, it's just Adonis Nice. I am nice, I promise. And I hope your next show is great. I hope your next class is great. I hope you keep on improvising. Improv for life.